Hello, welcome back. My name's Andrew. As you gathered by the title of my video, and of course I mentioned it in the last one, do I stay or do I go? Well, I've made that call now and I don't want to prolong it any longer than I need to. So my decision is I'm going to stay. And for those of you that think you already knew what I was going to do, or it was a bit of clickbait, just because I planted a few trees and so on, yeah, you're completely wrong, and you obviously don't know me very well. Up until yesterday, I was leaning more towards going, but I've written it all down. I've done the pluses and the minuses. Obviously, this has taken me a good month to get to this point, but I'm very pleased now that I've made that decision. Going around the hills on the bike, I've done nearly 1,000 kilometers in the last week since I've owned it, and I've really enjoyed it. And being up here on the hill with the quad, yeah, it's time to embrace and just enjoy what I have. So it's time to move forward and enjoy. This is fun to watch. I think the truck is new, so he's getting used to operating it, and it's taking him a few attempts. We're in an awkward space here as well. Well, good. We got the sand, we got the cement, we got the blocks, got the stones around there that were around the bus, still are, or where the bus was, on a sheet. Fortunately, that's going to make my life a lot easier. I've got some metal down there left here by the previous owner, and that's all going to help because I'm tackling that hole down there, and I want to make sure that it's really strong. I want to start off with the base area, get that sorted out, but we are into the afternoon now. Days are getting shorter. We are lucky because the next couple of weeks is going to be blue sky, which is really good. And that means I don't have to worry about the rain. Down, down, down. Cool. Before I carry on, I've got something quite important that I want to share with you, and it's regarding scamming. In the comments section on my last video, thank you very much to those of you that pointed it out through Messenger. There is someone infiltrating my channel and pretending to be me, but it's not. That is under Real Algarve Living, but my handle is blonde guy. So whenever you see blonde guy comments, that's me. But if it's real Algarve living, it isn't. Please don't be tempted to tap on that, because it will send you somewhere, and no doubt they're going to want your details and so on. Never ever give any details away, and certainly don't get your bank card out and give any of that information. I have notified YouTube, and that has been reported. I've removed all of them as soon as I could. Now, this has happened once before, and I did exactly the same then. I will never ever ask anybody for anything at all. If I do mention things, it will be within the video, but other than that, that isn't me. Blonde guy, that's my YouTube handle, and that's what it will appear when I'm making a comment. But real Algarve living, or if anything sounds similar to that, it isn't me. So please pay attention and look out for yourself. Each one of those two there is 3 meters long, and that's just going to help me make the circle. The floor area, I'm going to put a sheet down, and then I'm going to put some metal over the top of it to strengthen it. The sheet, don't really need to do that, but that's just going to help me gauge the thickness, and I want to make sure this is going to be level. So it might take a little bit of time, but there is a good chunk of day left, and I want to see if I can get this floor sorted out today and go from there, and then we'll start building up the blocks. So the actual inner circle will probably be about 2 meters 75, something like that, just enough room to enable me to backfill behind it. That's all very exciting. Go back up there, but before I do, this video, as you know, I made my decision to stay here. It was a genuine process that I had to go through. There's no clickbait in there. I don't do any of that stuff, and I don't really like drama, but I had a lot of comments from people saying, I know exactly what you're going through. People that were in the building trade, people who've done big projects. It seems to be a common thing, and it's definitely something that I went through on all of the previous houses. So I guess it's really nice to have that reassurance, and that's why I've been thinking out aloud in my last couple of videos, because all these things, you never really get to see or hear the thought process. You just see, oh, here's a house, just going to get on with it, and all's fine and dandy. But there are moments where things do work or don't work, and you've got to plan these things. And for me, although I really was 100% sure when I bought this house what I was doing, it is 3 years on, and well, I wanted to be double sure. So it wasn't about my state of mind. It wasn't about me feeling lost or anything like that, or needed a woman, as that seems to come up quite a lot. That will happen in due course, by the way. I believe in fate and destiny. I know way too many people that have been so desperate they just reach out for the nearest person, and it all goes horribly wrong. You're not being yourself. You're not living in the moment because you're too preoccupied with trying to find someone. Me, I enjoy my life out here. It's a decision I made quite a while ago, and I've got no regrets whatsoever. So when that day happens, when that lady turns up in my life, I'll let you know. Not straight away, obviously. It could go horribly wrong. But anyway, this is nothing to do with my mindset or anything at all. This was just me being strategically careful and making sure I was doing the right thing. And I am going to mention this right now, because one of the things that I didn't mention before is I had a meeting, or I was supposed to have a meeting this afternoon with the camera, with the building section, with my solicitor, but unfortunately my solicitor is ill, so I've had to postpone it for a couple of weeks. But in there, the questions I were posing were a carport and somewhere to cover my tractor and all the implements down the end of the garden, because obviously I need some shelter for all the stuff down there. But that's all used for the agricultural stuff, and I wanted to make sure that I was allowed to do all that. So that's what was tipping me one way or another, as to, you know, what can I or can't I do? And here, unfortunately, to get permits and permissions to do things, does seem to take forever. But one of the most important things, and I've decided now to, as you know, I've made my decision either way. But one of the things when I bought this house was that with the land I have, I wanted to do glamping. So I was hoping that in this meeting today, I could ask them. Now, it's 50-50 here. They may say no, or they might say, yeah, give it a go. I want to have maybe 3 to 4 little areas with a yurt or a geodome and a teepee and so on, and just set it all up really nice for some really nice glamping for people who just want to chill out, maybe do some wandering around and just get away from the hustle bustle. So now at this point, no matter what the decision is, I'm staying here. And that was one of the key reasons that I was debating whether to move or not. Having this size land and then not being able to make income from that just seems a little bit daft, but we'll see. We'll play it by ear. I know there'll be other things. Yeah, we'll wait. I'll let you know how that goes. But with regard to the carport, I still need to get permissions for those things. Now, with regard to the roof and so on, it's the same with that. If I wanted to put a pitched roof on that, I still have to get permissions, and that could take months, if not years. I then have to pay for someone else to do all of the work because it needs signing off. And that's why I'm not changing the footprint of this house. And that's why I'm keeping it fairly simple. If I do extensions and so on, it just takes too much time. And of course, for someone like myself to do the work, I'm only paying for materials. But if I'm paying someone else, you can quadruple that. And then it just all gets out of hand. That's the process I had to go through to decide what I was going to do. Now, I have, I believe, found a builder who's going to tackle that roof. I'm not going to say any more on that because he's due to start next month. But my experience with builders has never been that good. I've had a very clear conversation with them, and well, we'll see where that one goes. We'll play that one by ear, but if all does go to plan, then it looks like that'll be sorted out relatively quickly, and then it'll all be over to me, and I can get on with everything I need to turn that house into a home. There's plenty of other things, though, that I need to be getting on with, starting with this. Oh, that sounds better. I do have the proper gun, but it's in the tent somewhere. I can't be bothered to find it. That does the trick. Oh, you know what? Just getting this out, setting it up, getting ready to start. It's a good feeling. And I'm very pleased that I've made my decision now, so I can switch off from that and just get on. And I reckon I'm going to call this day one, the official starting date of getting on with this house and turning it into my home. From now, all things moving forward. That's been freaking me out for a while. Looks a bit weird. I got it from the skip because this area here, nice little table or something, but with that on it, I don't know, it looked like some sort of baby's crib or something in a graveyard. I don't know, don't want to disrespect, but it was being thrown away. But that, I don't think I need that. I might hold on to that for a second though, because someone else might like it. The wind is picking up a little bit now and it's bringing that cooler air, and I'm really noticing the difference. Last night was probably the first uncomfortable night. It was dry but really cold. So I think I better charge up that Bluetti because I didn't have much juice in it yesterday, and get that pellet burner going. That'll be nice tonight. I definitely am feeling it. And I get up quite early because of the sun coming through the window. I love watching it as it just starts to poke its head over the brow, and it seems to move quite quick. But I need the whole day if I'm going to be doing that hole down there. I've got some rebar dotted around here somewhere. I'll go and have a look for that because I want to get a layer of concrete down on top of that. Then I want to put a little bit of rebar and then completely cover it. And that's obviously going to take quite a lot of mixes, and I don't want to be going into the dark. And the dogs are going to be harassing me soon for their food and a walk. And I'm getting goosebumps. So I'll see you in the morning. Ready? Ready? Good job, boys. Take a rest. You must be knackered. I know I am. That was yesterday. Boy, did I ache. That was 6 hours non-stop. And obviously quite physical. And my arm, it still hasn't healed. I reckon it's about 80%. As I was getting the sand and the cement into, and the stones, or everything, into the cement mixer, I was really struggling. And I don't know how many mixes I did after 20, but it was quite a few. However, the mixture I used was 3-2-1. That's stones, sand, cement. And I was aiming for about 12 inches deep, although it was at a slight pitch. So I'm reckoning at the shallowest it's 10 and at the deep it's just 12. So I'm hoping that'll be all right. And obviously I had to leave a little section there because I wouldn't have been able to get out. It's incredibly fiddly down there. But I came back this morning as it was a cold night. It hadn't set firm. And I managed to fill that in. And stupidly, I put a sprinkling of cement over the top of it last night. I just watched other people doing that. And it left craters. So I decided afterwards I'd give it a light skim. So I did one mix of runny sand, cement, and just went over the whole lot. And I'm hoping now that that will set and get walkable very quickly, and then I can get the circle laid out for the blocks. Philippe the digger man has just turned up, and I want him to get rid of the mound. This is a bit tricky because I really haven't got anywhere else to put it, and I can't have it taken away just because that's an additional expense. So I really just got to spread it out as much as possible. I'm going to leave him to do what he knows to do, just avoiding the trees and going down in the probably the steepest area, which is directly down here where I'm standing now. So I guess spread it out a little bit. It's not going to look very pretty, but over time things will grow over it. And I'm sure it will look all right. It's just actually going to be quite nice to not see this mound in front of me. Well, it looks like the hole's starting to dry out a little bit. I don't think I want to go down there with the ladder just yet. The top may be a little bit soft, and I don't want to scrape it with my boots. Also want to make sure it's a little bit careful where the mound is close to the edge, because I don't want to be down there picking bits up. But so far it's spreading out quite well, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be as much of an eyesore as I perhaps was expecting it to be. We'll see. We'll let him carry on. I'm going to go walk the dogs. I mentioned earlier that hole down there that I filled up 10 to 12 inches. Bit of exaggeration. It's actually more like 5 and 6 inches. I don't know why I said that. Wishful thinking. I'm happy with that. I was expecting it to be more of an eyesore, but it's turned out really good. Of course, we've got green around here and it does clash. I like that colour. If we were doing it in the summer months, you wouldn't even notice it. Just have to be patient now. The leaves will drop down on there, and this time next year it will all go green, so I'm not worried about it. It looks pretty damn good. Of course, we haven't now had any rain for 2 weeks, and that means that what we're doing next is rock hard. This driveway down to the bus, just this little section here, is at that angle, and I want to make sure that it's as smoothed out as possible. So that's what he's doing next, and hopefully that will make a big difference. Well, I think for the first week moving forward, I'm really happy with the progress. Got rid of that mound, feels good. Driveway, I haven't been down there yet. I'm looking forward to, I think I'll take that for a spin in a couple of seconds. Yeah, it's going to be a full moon, I think, the next couple of nights. So it's not particularly dark, but when it does go pitch black, it means I won't be veering off into the trees, which is really nice. My next mission is to get that hole sorted out. I want to do one job at a time, build that up to the top, render it on the inside, backfill it, and then get a lid on it before it rains. And I've got no idea when that's going to be. So I better just knuckle down and get on with it. I think I'll have a fresh start tomorrow on that one. And you can check it out in the next video. I think also I'm in the mood for a chocolate challenge. Till next week, bye.